first started blogging 8th grade with Zanga.
I was like 13 or 14, and everyone in my middle school was running Zanga.
In high school, I used LiveJournal all the time. And that wasn't really, I think it was mostly private stuff, and it was mostly stuff like, I'm depressed, I'm having issues with boys and girls, and I hate my life, stuff like that.
I started blogging so long ago when I wanted a creative way to put my poetry out so all my friends could log in and see it.
Blogging is something that I've been doing for about 1 billion years, but obviously it wasn't called blogging when we were sitting in front of our diary land and our live journal and back in the day. It's something that I've always just felt like I had to do. My name is Meredith Turritz. I'm 23 years old. I live in Brooklyn, New York.
I started blogging out of boredom. I was on the internet, roaming, just finding something to do, and then I came across some cool blogs, and like most of them were on Tumblr. And I don't know, I just decided to start one to see what it would be like. I had no idea what I would blog, or if anything I said was worth blogging.
Actually, my ex-girlfriend of mine was on Tumblr, and I only joined because it made her sick that I would join, and I ended up loving it because it was cool. It was cool.
I was actually told about Tumblr, and I had a job at my university where I sat at a desk for up to like 18 hours, and I needed something to do with my time and with my life while I sat there. So this guy Justin, who introduced me to Tumblr, actually did my whole layout, and I got hooked.
I was in Xanga, and I had a live journal, and I had a blogspot. I had like 3 different blogspot accounts, and they all got deactivated. And then I found Tumblr, and I've been on Tumblr ever since then.
This person that I met at a show had a Tumblr, and he was telling me to read it, and then he was telling me how easy it was to use, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna start using it too, and that's how I got to using Tumblr. But it's always just been a really good outlet.
You know, blogging really wasn't culture when I was, I guess, in 8th grade or 7th grade when I started my diary. And I always have sort of felt the need to write and to talk about where I am in my life and to sort of release my feelings into the ether. And so when, you know, blog culture sort of became a thing, it wasn't for me jumping on it to be part of blog culture. It was continuing to write how I feel and how I think and, you know, what I need to talk about.
So on LiveJournal, it was a lot more private stuff, and I was a lot younger, and I had friends that would leave like very loving personal responses, and it was really like good conversations because I didn't have a cell phone, so basically it was like a really good conversation with my friends. Whereas Tumblr, it's not as personal. I tend to make my entries on there a lot shorter, and if I ever happen to make them longer, I usually end up deleting them after 2 days because I like go into shock because I have like 300 known people that follow me on there, and it freaks me out because I'm thinking, okay, maybe I just spilled out too much information, and I'm older, so I think I'm a little more constrained with what I'm sharing with people.
I was in like 7th grade, 8th grade with my Xanga, so I was blogging about petty drama within the school or whatever. But with my Tumblr, now that I'm in college, it's more of the music that I like, videos that I like, photos from like my inspiration folder, whatever, on my computer, and random thoughts. It's still not a personal thing, like my other blogs. They weren't deeply personal, but there's little stories that I write and photos that I've taken.
My blog is evolving. It was very personal, and then I forgot how personal it was when I started telling people about it. And now it's still personal. It's more filtered as far as being personal is concerned.
So my old blogs were sort of everything you'd expect out of like a teenage diary. You know, just what was going on with school or relationships or the people I was frustrated at or the people that were making me really happy. I mean, my childhood was a little odd. I had a ton of friends who were outside the circle of my school, and I was really involved in the music scene, and those were huge parts of my life, and that was really what I focused on when I wrote. And now my blog just talks about where I am as a writer and the projects that I'm involved in, and my novel, which is the number one thing that the blog is focused on.
I mean, I'll write about, like, if I guess about a little bit of family issue and a little bit of like what I did if I went to an exhibition or if I went to some concert, but I'll never get too personal with my Tumblr. I think that there's a difference between journaling and blogging. You're blogging because you have something to express that you want people to read or to hear about, but you journal when, for me at least, I journal when things are kind of rough for me, and I don't really have any other way to express it.
I feel as if some people use their blogs as journals, and to me a journal is my deep innermost thoughts and feelings written down as a tangible collective item. Blogging for me is, this is something I want to tell other people, I want other people to know about, or I really want, you know, a majority of my friends or people I don't even know to go in and see. And it may be personal, but it's not secret. Things in my journal are not for the world to see.
When I used LiveJournal, I felt more like I had to spill out my beans on it. Like I had to spill out everything because that was the only place I could really talk. Whereas now I'm older, I have different outlets. I articulate my feelings more through my art. So instead of like posting a big entry about being depressed or like breaking up with somebody, I'll make a piece of art and then I'll post that. So I guess it's the same, but it's just me channeling my energy differently. I think that's just a process from getting older. Because I mean, I was using LiveJournal when I was like 15 and 16.
Well, the blog itself isn't just about the novel, it's about what it's like to be young and to be a writer and to be going through a lot of things that people my age are not going through. Most 23-year-olds aren't, you know, working with her agent to try to publish a novel or even trying to find an agent to begin with. And so the blog for me hasn't just been about the book itself, but it's been about, you know, emotionally what it takes to be a writer, to commit yourself to fiction, to dedicate yourself to fiction. You know, and for me, writing everything down, it just sort of not only helps me collect my thoughts creatively, but really gives me a chronicle as to where I've been and where being a writer has taken me. And that's what I want to do with my life. I want to continue to write fiction and continue to write in my daylight, you know, during my day job like I do. And the things you learn about yourself as a writer never get old. And I think I'll never stop writing about what writing means.